Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Well, all you citizens of the world, welcome back to Live from the Heartland for the week of October 17th. And I'm always glad when I can get my former co-host, sometimes guest, sometimes or occasional producer, the one and only Katy Hogan, to come on the show. Katy's pretty busy out there dealing with the challenges to our neighborhood, our city, our country. And where a lot of us are really proud of the work she does. Because she really embraces it. And I asked her to come on today to share a little bit about what's going on with ICE and other things in our neighborhood and beyond. As I alluded to at the beginning of this week's show, ICE has been in our neighborhood. They've grabbed some people. They've been challenged by the community's response. So good morning to you, Katy Hogan.
Good morning, Michael.
Thanks for coming on. How about the difficult task of giving our listeners and viewers a little bit of a report about some of the things that have happened, not only here in the 49th Ward, but in wards around the city?
I'll do my best. The interesting thing that's developing for those of us who are trying to do all we can is that as ICE invaded our neighborhoods over the past week, they really started in Rogers Park, I don't know, a little over a week ago now, is that we lose our perspective of the bigger picture. We get focused in on our own neighborhood and trying to be wherever, or figure out where ICE is going to be. And all of a sudden, you know, that's all that's in our viewer. And I think that's kind of a metaphor for the moment. All of us are being distracted so enormously that we don't even pay attention to things that we may be used to in the broader picture. It's hard because this is a moment like no other. I can't I can't stay there with it because I don't want to scare people. But it is scary. It's very scary because we have no backstop. Washington, D.C. is useless. The administration is against the American people, period. Stop. That's it. They are anti the American people. So the administration is a place to look for what is coming down the road next at us. Again, a thing that we don't have time to look at very clearly right now. But the backstop that I saw a couple of weeks ago was a room full of generals, stone-faced, thinking, "Are you blanking kidding me?" As they listened to that idiot, both idiots that talked to him. It's like we're in a bad movie. So. What was your question? Sorry.
The question is basically
this Saturday.
Fill us in a little bit about what's gone in our neighborhood. And I know that, and you are addressing that by saying we sort of lose track of what's going on beyond our neighborhood.
Right.
Both are real.
I'll get back to you.
I do know that in our neighborhood that I first heard this past Friday that ICE had grabbed people 2 blocks away from where I live out of a laundromat. And then there was a call for Protect Rogers Park and beyond to show up at Lunt and Clark on Saturday, and close to 400 people, more or less, showed up. The following day on Sunday, ICE was grabbing people. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Friday, what you mentioned when you first became aware, which is also the first time that I think that they were actually in Rogers Park. And they did grab that day before we got ourselves together, some 4 individuals from Rogers Park. But what was stunning about that day to me was I got the message. They're at Lunt and Clark. show up. It was an early enough message that I had to like get out of my pajamas, jump in clothes and walk. I can't really run, but I would have if I could. I walked very quickly to Lumpen Clark, which is 4 blocks away, and everyone was gathered around the taco stand there, which has been there for years. There was an incorrect notice that went out that said that the fellow who runs that taco stand was nabbed. He was not. They didn't even attempt to. But let's see. But what was totally cool to me was there was a young woman who was seemingly, knowing what was going on and helping and repeating things that what she knew. But as I stood there, at least 20 people showed up just in the time that from the time I reached there until the time I started walking the beat that I volunteered to walk from there up to the park and the CMSA school and up to Jarvis and back. And while I stood there, these 20 people, all of whom were in their 20s or 30s, half of whom were on bikes. The people who looked like me were walking, but they were there as well. By that, I mean the age thing. But when I came back from my walk, there was still another group of 20 more volunteers. These are volunteers from our neighborhood who care enough to get out and we all got whistles at that time, those of us who didn't have them before, but that was like the start of mass passing out of whistles. There's a protocol for using them so that people don't misuse them. But, when people hear a quick 3 blasts on a whistle, it means somebody has sighted ice in the neighborhood. But if there's a long or a couple of long whistles, that means somebody is watching someone getting taken away. So that was the start of it Friday. And like you said, then things really escalated in both ways. One of the things that happens, which is interesting for Rogers Park, because as you know, we are on the lakefront. And in the past, in normal life, when we hear a helicopter, we're all a little nervous because it means someone might be drowning, basically, with the helicopters hovering over the lakefront, et cetera, which is close enough that everybody in the neighborhood hears it. And everyone thinks it's either someone's in trouble in the lake or there is maybe a fire or maybe a traffic mishap. But now when we hear helicopters, we look for ice. So it's unnerving, to say the least. It's hugely unnerving. You hear this sound, and to me, it's got an automatic response now that is not a happy one. It's like puts me, in a nervous place, and then I go looking for whatever is the notice that maybe I should be paying attention to and following. That same Friday, by the way, people were so on alert that for the entire rest of the day, there were Rogers Parkers showing up at all the schools at let-out time to accompany students, to let the parents stay at home safely so that the students could be accompanied by someone else to bring them home. What do you
say? So that people know, Rogers Park is along the lakefront, adjacent to the Evanston line, and it's a home to about 30% African American, 30% white, 30% Latino, probably some more Asians. It's really a very diverse and a progressive neighborhood. And for a long time, there's been a Latino community here. And one of the things that I noticed, I saw it on the news just last night. They arrested or they grabbed up a former Heartland Cafe employee, one of the dishwasher maintenance guys.
I knew that Friday morning. He was there when I walked up, Antonio.
And they grabbed Antonio, and he has papers and he's legal, but they gave him a ticket for not having them with him.
which is utter BS.
Nonsense.
There's not a rule. I mean, do you carry around your citizenship proof? Does any of us? No.
I don't, but I'm
No.
fearful of getting deported to where? To England?
Yeah, if it were funny, I'd laugh. But it's
I'm
really
sorry, I didn't mean to.
awful.
We can edit that out.
I know it's hard. We want to laugh, and we keep finding ways to do so. Thanks to some of the late night comedians that are smart and covering it. But yeah, Antonio was right there when I came up to the taco stand last Friday, and he showed me the ticket. I took a picture. And his daughter, who we know, Geneva. This is a family that the entire family, parts of it, worked at the Heartland many years. And I talked to him completely, fully about it. We got to the point where I said, there is no law like this. This is not worth the paper it's written on. But the fact of the matter is, ICE has been picking up people who are legal, who do have papers. They don't care. They don't have warrants. They don't have people's names. It's nonsensical as well as infuriating. And it's inhumane. I mean, people are being treated. These ICE thugs are just that. They are unidentified. All have masks on. We don't know who they are. They are unaccountable. No one has invited them to our city, obviously. And now this week, the current thing is, Pritzker and Mayor Johnson both went to court and got good results earlier this week from judges that were trying to curb the ICE element, and said things like, you cannot fire on peaceful demonstrators, you cannot do tear gas on peaceful demonstrators, because the week before, once they started their assault on the north side, because they have been, over on, in the Mexican neighborhood for a while. And so anyway, the judge made two different judges made two good rulings, and supposedly for us, and within 2 days, ICE had completely ignored those rulings, including big lot of tear gas in Albany Park yesterday, big lot of tear gas on the southeast side, where neighbors, it was their first time too. And when it happens for the first time, people are in disarray. We don't know what to do. We're not trained people. How do we get between an armed force of faceless zombies cruelly and just anyway, dragging people off the street and throwing them in vehicles? I mean, the abject cruelty is stunning when you see it, even when you see it on tape. There are times now that I cannot allow myself to watch the tapes for my own personal health.
Let me jump in because what I recognized was that on Sunday, the day after the big, gathering of folks here, we had for 2 days we had a big gathering. ICE was really rampant in the neighborhood. They were hanging outside of churches. They were grabbing people in the alleys, and we need to recognize this is going to continue a while, and we got to continue. We've had a remarkable response. There is going to be a march this Saturday, the 18th, at Butler Field in Grant Park. One of the things that I know it may be difficult for you, Katy, I try to be kind of as Pollyannish as I can through any circumstance, but I'm trying to figure ways where we keep our spirits up so that we're going to lose a lot of battles in this next period of time. But we have to keep our spirits up and keep working for a time when it will be different, and it will be different. You have any suggestions on how people ought to maintain their sanity in these dire times?
Honestly, Michael, I can't pretend this morning like I have a good answer to that. I cannot pretend. What I do know is in our neighborhood in Rogers Park, we are blessed with a great population of experienced organizers, of committed organizers, community people, something that resulted the first Trump presidency in an organization called Protect Rogers Park, PRP, with the butterfly signal. The butterfly, the monarch. Well, it's beyond now. I mean, PRP is really thought well of everywhere because of we were doing this 8 years ago, and then there was a lull, but people were still organizing, just not bigly. And but when Trump came back, PRP 2.0 immediately started meeting. A lot of us took trainings just post inauguration, preparing for what we now are facing, but not knowing what it would look like. And so the stark illegality and cruelty of what is going on does stop people in their tracks. Even if they're organizers, even if they're experienced, it still is a numbing kind of moment when you realize, well, are we all we've got? And yeah, we are all we've got. And ultimately the ultimate backstop is the generals if they choose to go the right way, which, if Trump and party keep talking to them like they were, infants, they'll go our way. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee at this point. And because we are the minority in the Senate and Congress, everything that's going on is going the Republican way, including the shutdown, the government shutdown. They keep trying to call it the Democratic shutdown, and I don't think that's really catching any belief whatsoever. The Democrats are simply saying, no, we're going to try. We're giving it our best effort to at least, and I'm telling you, it is the minimum, save the healthcare for people and keep the ACA extension, the Affordable Care Act extensions in place. They were supposed to kick in, and these guys, the Mike Johnson and cohorts are, with their big ugly bill, wrote that right out. That's gone. They want us to be unhealthy. They want us to be scared. They want us to be powerless. We have to fight to not be scared. We are never powerless. And my thing to people right now, this march on Saturday is an important moment. It comes at an important moment, but when we are so singular viewed on what's right around us, like here or in Portland, we might not be able to see the effect across the nation and how people across the nation are looking at us and what's going on with horror as is appropriate. So Saturday's march is really important, that we have more people than we did at the first No Kings March. I see the main problem with that now. I would have said a week ago, that's great. I think we're on target to have a bigger bunch of people, even here in Chicago, which already had, 70,000 that first time. I've talked to people and they're afraid. They say to me, what if ICE comes? I mean, we had our co-op board meeting last night, our annual meeting, and we wound up talking about how people can feel safe and be safe if they go down to the march. My response is, and this could be Pollyanna, is ICE is not going to show up at a march that is, 25 people across the street, 2 miles long, and half of them have this color skin or this color hair. If ICE decided to, start whacking grannies' heads, I think even those goofies know that would not serve them. Publicity-wise, bad optics. What? Go ahead.
I'm saying thank you very much, Katy Hogan, for your inspirational comments. We've filled up this first part of the show.
I didn't even.
If I don't see you before, I'll see you on that march. And I'll see a lot of other people who listen to the show. If you're listening to it live not live, but when it goes up on Saturday morning, as soon as it's over, get on downtown.
Well, people should go to Indivisible Chicago to get information. I'm sorry.